After selling over 7,000 templates on Etsy, I can tell you exactly why yours isn't selling. Let's fix that. The first reason your templates aren't selling is because the design itself needs work. And I want to say this in the nicest way possible because I've been there too. After doing this for a few years and looking at thousands of listings on Etsy, you start to develop an eye for design. You can usually tell when something feels polished and when something still looks like a beginner created it. If a design doesn't feel put together, people won't feel confident spending money on it. Especially because we're not just competing with other Etsy sellers, we're also competing with Canva's free templates. There are thousands of free designs available, so if someone is going to pay for yours, it has to give them a reason to choose it over something they can get for free. Now, it doesn't have to be the best design out there, it just needs to feel well put together enough that someone would actually pay for it. Before I show you how to fix this, let's do a quick test. I'm going to put two designs side by side and I want you to look at them and just ask yourself, which one here would you actually pay for? And that difference right there, that's what we're trying to fix. So how do you actually fix this? Number one, give yourself time to improve. I know it's easy for me to say this now, but I was not always good at design. If I look back at my templates from a few years ago compared to what I create now, the difference is huge. And that did happen overnight. It came from repetition. When you design over and over again, you naturally start to understand what looks good and what doesn't. Your eye gets trained. Number two, expose yourself to good design. Spend time on platforms like Pinterest or even inside Canva and really pay attention to what makes certain templates look good. Look at how they use spacing, how they pair fonts, how they choose colors, how they create their layouts, and what elements they use. And over time, I promise you, you'll start to pick up patterns that you'll apply to your own work without even realizing it. Number three, simplify your designs. A lot of beginners try to do too much. Too many fonts, too many colors, too many elements. And I get it because I used to do the exact same thing. Whenever I saw empty space in my design, I felt like I needed to fill it with something. But over time, you start to realize that white space is actually part of good design. It gives your layout room to breathe and keeps everything from feeling cluttered. So if you're still learning, simpler designs are usually the way to go. Most of the time, they actually look better. And honestly, some of the templates that sell the most in my shop are the simplest ones. So focus on clean layouts, consistent fonts, and a limited color palette. At the end of the day, design is a skill. And like any skill, the more you practice it, the better you get. You may not become the best designer overnight, but if you stay consistent, you will improve and it will show in your products. The next reason your templates aren't selling is because they don't look viable. A lot of people focus so much on the product itself, which is great, but they don't spend nearly as much time making sure their product photos match that same level of quality. And with digital products, this matters more than you think. People don't actually get to see your full template before they buy. They're making their decision based entirely on your product photos. So no matter how good your design is, if that's not coming across in your visuals, it's just not going to sell. A mediocre product with great visuals will almost always outperform a great product with poor presentation. If your templates aren't selling, try looking at your listing from a buyer's perspective. Put your product next to similar listings and ask yourself honestly if it stands out and makes you want to click. Because if it doesn't, that's likely the issue. You're competing with dozens of similar listings, and if your product photos don't catch attention, people won't even click in to see what you've made. So how do you fix this? Number one, your first photo, aka your thumbnail, needs to stop the scroll. If there's one photo you should obsess over, it's your first one. That's your only chance to grab attention and get the click. If it doesn't stand out, people will scroll right past. So spend the most time here. Make it clean, clear, and catchy. Number two, use all the photos. Etsy gives you up to 20 photos. Please use them. Each photo is an opportunity to build trust, explain the product, and remove hesitation. If you only have 1 to 3 products, it's just not enough to convince someone to buy. Number three, show variety. Don't just upload screenshots of the same design over and over. Mix it up, use mock-ups on a laptop, phone, or print. Show close-ups, show different pages. You want your listings to feel dynamic, not repetitive. At the end of the day, people can't buy what they don't see. So your job is to make your product look as good as it actually is. Another reason your templates aren't selling is because you're not using video. And this is a big one. Did you know that listings with videos can see up to 300% higher click-through rates and can increase engagement by up to 40%? One of the most effective ways to make your product stand out on Etsy right now is by adding a listing video. Because when someone is browsing on Etsy, they're not just seeing static images anymore. The moment they hover over a listing that has a video, it starts playing automatically. So instead of showing just one photo, you're instantly showing movement, context, and more of your product all within a few seconds. And in a marketplace where so many listings start to look the same, that alone can give you a huge edge. Now, a lot of sellers know they should be adding videos, but the problem is it feels time-consuming. You think you need filming equipment, editing skills, or a whole setup just to create one. But the reality is you don't actually need any of that. There are now tools that let you turn your design into a listing video in just a few minutes. One of the tools that can help you do this is Kittl. For example, let's say you're selling wall art, which I know a lot of you are. You already have your product photo or your mockup, right? Now, inside Kittl, you can actually turn this into a video. For example, if you want to add movement, like someone walking in and adjusting the frame, you can just type that in, generate it, and it creates this really realistic video. Or if you want something more lifestyle focused, like a cat walking in and sitting beside your design, you can do that too. This one is honestly my favorite. You can even generate scenes where someone is picking up your wall art, interacting with it, and making it feel more real. And the best part is you're not filming any of this. You don't need a studio, you don't need equipment, and you don't need editing skills. Everything is done directly inside Kittl. And this is exactly what I mean when I say your listing needs to stand out. Even just adding something like this can instantly make your product feel more dynamic, more real, and honestly, more worth clicking on. So if you've been struggling to get clicks or sales, this is something I would seriously try. You can try Kittl for free, but also right now they are offering 2 months free on their yearly plans, plus additional video generation through extra tokens. This offer is only available until April 25, so if you want to take advantage of it, make sure to use the code ETSY at checkout. I'll leave the link in the description so you can check it out. Another reason your templates aren't selling is because your pricing doesn't match the perceived value. And what I mean by this is that sometimes the price of your product doesn't match how valuable it looks to a buyer. For example, if you're selling a one-page invoice template for $3, but the design looks very basic or similar to something they can get for free, it doesn't feel worth paying for. So even if the price is low, if the value isn't clear, people still won't buy. Because at the end of the day, people don't buy based on price alone. They buy based on what they feel they're getting in return. So how do you fix this? Well, there are 2 ways to approach it. The first is to adjust your pricing. Take a look at other listings in your niche, especially the bestsellers. See what they're charging and what's included in their products. That will give you a good benchmark. If your product is very similar in terms of what's included, then your pricing should also be in a similar range. The second option is to increase your perceived value. This is where you make your product feel more worth the price you want to charge. You can do this by improving your design so it looks unique, adding more pages or templates, turning your product into a bundle, including variations or different versions. Even small upgrades can make a big difference in how valuable your product feels. So if your templates aren't selling, go through these things, fix what needs to be fixed, and you'll start to see a big difference in how your listings perform. If you want to give your listings a quick upgrade, especially when it comes to standing out, I highly recommend adding videos to your listings. A tool that can help you with this is Kittl. They're currently offering 2 months free on their yearly plan plus extra tokens for additional video generations. This offer is only available until April 25, so if you want to try it out, make sure to use the code ETSY at checkout. I'll leave the link in the description so you can check it out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!